Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak the Bag Show for Tuesday, December 5th, the 12 o'clock edition. Of course, we do this show 12 o'clock Eastern Time and 6 o'clock Eastern Time every day. 2 shows, Jimmy the Bag. Yesterday was not good, Jimmy the Bag.
Was not good.
Not good for either of us, although weirdly we were both up in NHL. So, most days have been positive because of college basketball, but then we have negative days in NHL. Yesterday was a losing day for both of us, but we were both positive in NHL. So I don't know. It's just one day. It's okay. I'm still positive in every single sport. Actually, a pretty solidly positive. Listen. Yesterday, I won 1.5 units in NHL. You won 2.5 units in NHL, but we both shitted the bed in college hoops. And it was also, an interesting study in why half points do matter. Points and half points do matter. Of course, I took the under in the NFL game. It was 43 or 43.5. So, of course, I took 43.5, and that one wound up being a win instead of a push. And then I believe that also you had the Spurs, right? Man, that's a tough one.
First half and full game.
Oh, that's a tough one. You had them at -3.5. They wound up winning by 3. These half points do matter. Then you have other games where they don't matter at all. Most of your winning picks yesterday won by a mile. Utah won by a mile. I was all over Utah in the second half on that one, and that one cashed. So you had a bunch of, and Dallas, great call there, Jim.
Yeah, it's still it was a down night in the NBA because of losing double on the Spurs game. Extremely disappointing, but I believe I'm back in the black in NHL.
Let's check. Let me check. I do have the records right here in the NHL. More bad news for you, Jimmy the Bag.
What am I at?
You are down 1/10 of 1 unit.
Oh, that's not bad news.
No, it is not. And your ROI on the year is -0.1%.
All right, man.
Yeah, not bad. That could easily be overcome. Listen, a couple of winning days, and all this will be like a faint memory, right?
Yeah, the basketball hurt really bad. Michigan was up 23 points.
Ooh, yes. See, that's what I'm saying, Jim. In college basketball, I take holistic approaches, right? So I didn't bet that game. Or actually, I had the second half under. That was the only bet that I made, which cashed. But I take if I had wanted, Michigan, I'll tell you exactly how I would have bet that. I would have bet the first half money line, the full game money line like you did, and then probably made an adjustment on the second half. Might have taken Ohio State on the second. And my point is that when I bet college basketball, whenever I have a lean on a game or an opinion on a game, I'm almost always taking the holistic approach. I'm rarely just making a money line bet and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it would have worked had I have done that.
Yes, no, I mean, it's just like, it's a perfect, that's how college basketball, works. You see a ton of stuff like that where the first half, you see that in all sports, but especially in college sports and especially in college basketball. You see, a result in the first half or the first 15 minutes, it looks one way, and then the second half or the last 10 minutes or whatever is completely the opposite, and you can bet into that, though. Which is why I take a holistic approach to college basketball betting. The good news is that your overall college basketball record is still great, plus 8% ROI, which is very, very nice. And the decent news is that overall, you're down in NBA a little bit, down in NHL a little bit, but nothing that a few winning days can't fix. And yesterday, of course, we had the great drama in the 6 o'clock show where the guy was buying dislikes, right? And I actually have if that ever happens again, I have an offer to that guy. I want to make him an offer, but I won't make the offer unless it happens again, okay?
I'm sure it's going to happen again.
All right, so Jimmy the Bag, we got a massive college basketball card, which I have not looked at yet, but we will definitely be breaking down in depth, and I'll probably wind up having 12 or 15 picks today at 6 o'clock Eastern Time. And we do have a small small NBA card, a big NHL card. Let's jump right into NBA. First, let's just quickly look for some comments here. Just let's quickly. Here we go. JC Hill says, "Shit, that's why it's called gambling, bro. No worries, we'll get that ass tonight, baby." Yes, and of course, Jimmy the Bag have had ups and downs the past 2 weeks, and actually, believe it or not, each of the past 2 weeks, both Jimmy and I have been positive at the end of the week.
That's right.
And that's why it's considered a marathon, not a sprint. And that is why bet sizing is so important. I say this every show, and I don't mind saying it every show, because the downs, no matter who you are, even if you're Billy Walters, even if you're freaking Halibos Vulgaris, the downs will come. And if you don't bet size appropriately, the downs bankrupt you. If you bet size appropriately, they don't bankrupt you, and you can weather it. And if you come out positive overall, then you will make money. That's why bet sizing is so absolutely essential. Okay, let's just get to some other. Angel Romero says, Loshak, does a holistic approach mean pretty much a backup bet, insurance type bet? No, a holistic approach I will explain that. Do you mind if I take a minute? Because we do have a short card relatively. Yeah. A holistic approach means that there are like all the bets are related, and so there will be second half bets that I'll want to make based on how the first half went, and also if there's a way that I'm handicapping a game, there are certain bets in college basketball that I'll want to make on the full game and on the first half, just in case what happened with Jimmy yesterday, which happens that's not even like an anomalous result. That's almost like par for the course in college basketball, right? A team has a huge winning half and then comes back and then loses the game big time. So I bet into to those kinds of overall trends. And so for example, if I was going to bet that way with Jimmy the Bag, which I do all the time, make a first half bet and a full game bet, and then I would have cashed the first half bet, lost the full game bet, but probably would have been on the right side on the second half. Now, if the first half had gone a different way, I might have taken a different approach to it. Maybe if Michigan was down, I would have lost the first half bet, but then bet them on the second half and maybe cashed the second half and the full game. My point is that the bets are all related, and so when I handicap a game, I'm looking at how I'm thinking about the side and the total, first half, second half, and full game, and team total.
Yeah, no, it's a smart way of doing things.
Yeah, and of course, because all those bets are related, you have to bet size those bets appropriately as well, because they're all correlated, right? So, if you make a second half bet on the same side as you bet on the full game, those are very correlated bets. So your bet size, you can't be betting your maximum bet on those two bets, because then you're overbetting your edges, right? So that's what I'm saying, and that's what I do with all sports, but especially with college basketball for sure. JD Williams says, no worries, Jimmy. I'm very interested in your NHL today. Yes, there's one thing Jimmy does day in and day out: research and awesome breakdowns and awesome commentary, awesome factors to think about. Jimmy touches on everything that can possibly be touched on, especially in NHL and NBA. All right, let's see. All right. Udamporn Ratanafakti says, hit 3 teams parlay yesterday, Pete. Very nice job, Udamporn Ratanafakti. Wondering what those were. Okay, let's see. Oh, here we go. Triple Beams 3 says, y'all were down yesterday? You helped me go 6-1. St. Mary's under, Indiana under, Caps, Missouri State. Yes, absolutely. My St. Mary's under pick, that was a great call, Jimmy the Bag, wasn't it?
It was a great call.
Capitals, we were both on the Capitals. That was a great call yesterday.
It was too fucking easy.
Yes, Indiana under. And that's another thing is, and I from doing videos with handicappers for many, many years, I have learned to handicap the handicappers. And you as viewers might be able to sense when Jim and I are on the right side or the wrong side, as the case may be, and follow that way. I have a very good sense of that with like Al McMorty and a few of those guys. I'm very good at reading what it is that the handicappers do well and don't do well. And so triple beams. No, we were down yesterday overall because we had a couple of bad calls in NBA and college basketball. We did have some good picks. We did have some nice winners in NHL, and I actually made a decent amount of money yesterday, but only because I wound up missing some of the bets that I wanted to make that wound up being losers. So it's nice when that happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I did not make any money yesterday.
All right. Jimmy the Bag, let's go. Yeah, Penn State fucked me last night. That says Raymond Coker. All right. James Pomeroy says simply, we love you, Jimmy, in all caps. Yeah, very nice. There you go. Very nice to hear that, especially in a down day. That's when that really matters. When Jim's coming off a huge winning day, it's nice to hear. But when it comes off a down day, really, there you go. Let's give that a comment of the day award. James Pomeroy, we love you, Jimmy, all in caps. If it hadn't been all in caps, wouldn't give it a, but all in caps, that gets a comment of the day award. All right.
Thank you, James.
And Jason Walker says, hit a 4-game parlay. Thank you, fella. Okay, great. Hey, listen, if you only took the picks that were the winners, then you did great. Rudamporn Ratanafakti took the Islanders over, Flames over, which was another one of our picks, and Pittsburgh under 43.5, which again, we did have some winners. Yeah, I'm forgetting about all the winners, Jim. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can find some winners today. Hopefully we'll have a nice bounce back day. Hopefully we'll have, I'm still having a good time in this show, right? Despite the fact that we're coming off a losing day, right? Are you having a good time?
I'm having a good time here, but as you know, I can't sleep when I lose, and I was up at 3:45 in the morning. And,
I know. I hear you, Jim. All right, so let's get to NBA. A small slate of games today. Some interesting stuff. Obviously, Phoenix and Toronto. Man, I told you about that fucking under in the Phoenix Sixers game. Didn't that go on? I'll be damned if that didn't go under, Jim.
Yeah. It was an interesting game. I mean, Booker totally took over. Simmons was clearly playing with the flu. We were right on that call that he wouldn't have played had McConnell be healthy. It was a mistake. But even under those circumstances, I still thought the Sixers could pull it out. I tell you what, I'm going to bet on the Sixers again next game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and then the Detroit-San Antonio game, I told you I liked it at the under 198 by tip-off or by the 6 o'clock show. It was all the way up to 200.5 or 201, a huge move to the over. I'll be damned if that one didn't go under, Jim. I should have. Where's my balls? I had so many balls for the entire season in the NBA, and all of a sudden I'm losing my balls.
You should
I should go with my leans, right?
Definitely. You have a great record in the NBA.
Yes, and I should go with my leans.
Yeah,
that's right. Let's throw up the NBA record. Can we throw it up, Jim? Do you mind? You're only down a little bit. It's not that bad.
When have I ever minded? Can you please stop asking me that? I don't care if I'm down a unit or two. Don't fucking ask me. Put it up every morning. We're always going to be honest. We're always going to be transparent. I'm never going to say no. Never ask me again.
Okay. Jim getting a little bit testy. Do you feel okay, Jim? Don't ask you if you're feeling okay either, right?
You can ask me if I'm feeling okay. That's what a friend does. But a friend doesn't patronize just because I'm down a couple fucking units.
No. I'm not patronizing you. I'm just look. If I was down, I would definitely address like my. I don't know what I would say. I would throw the record up, but I would definitely be hesitant about it and not wanting to do it. But I would throw it up. All right, so let's see what we can do tonight in NBA. We do have the Phoenix's next game. They're on a back-to-back, right? Toronto obviously highly rested. Toronto obviously can get blowout wins at home. I'm thinking about Toronto on the first half over. The first half spread. What do you think, Jim?
Raps are 8-1-1 at the ACC. They're very fresh. Haven't played since Friday. This will be just their third game in 8 days. Raptors have scored 100 points or more in 9 consecutive games, averaging 113.3 points during that span. And the Suns are on the second half of a back-to-back. We saw what they did last night. Booker season-high 46 points. They're 5-7 on the road, playing pretty well on the road. 10th in the league in offense, averaging 107.4, but last 30th in the league, allowing 115.2 a game. If there was a move, it would be the Raptors on the first half, but I'm staying off this at this point.
Yeah, it's a little high. It's 7.5, 8, or 8.5. The last time Phoenix was on a back-to-back, they did get blown out in their next game. And Toronto, at home, they have recently had some just absolutely dominant first halves. So, Toronto winning by 8 or 10 in this first half would not be out of character for them.
No, their letdown spot all year has been that third quarter.
Right.
So what is let me see what the spread is for the first half.
It's 7.5 or 8. I will take it only because this was something that I thought when I was handicapping the game. If I didn't give it, it would be half a lack of balls and half just being prudent about not laying that many points. But it does feel like Toronto should roll here, at least in the first half. I'll take it. It's 8 market wide, 5 dimes, and Heritage have 7.5. We don't use 5 dimes lines, but I will use the Heritage line. First half, minus 7.5, minus 115. Toronto first half over Phoenix. All right, that one could lose, but
a lot of people are with you here. A lot of people. Tomor says Toronto first half I like. Toronto's rested. Philadelphia was flat, played horribly. Booker really has to carry the team to have a shot. Yeah, everybody's got loves Raptors are awful in the third quarter. Trevor Loudon says first half is the way to go. Chris Garza says go with the Raptors.
And I was also thinking about the shot with the first half over. And again, the first half over here is significantly less than the 50% of the full game total, which I don't quite understand. The full game total is about 220. Well, actually, wow, it's getting bet down. Oh shit, I didn't turn off my my internet. Yeah, it's getting bet down. It was 225.5. Now it's down to 223. But the first half total is down to 108.5, 109, or 110. I'm not quite understanding that unless the market is thinking that Toronto's going to have one of those what would it be like a 53-36 type first half win.
Yeah, I don't really see that happening. I think that's a really nice total. Is 108?
108.5, 109, or 110. Yeah, 108.5.
Ooh, that's a nice line.
Because Phoenix, when Phoenix is a little bit tired, they'll throw defense out the window, won't they, Jim? You've watched this enough, right?
They will. And Jay Triano used to coach the Raptors. I think he's going to care about this game and try to instill that into his team. But
I'm taking it. I'm taking the first half over 108.5, minus 105. That is the line right now at betonlinesportsbetting.ag. Pinnacle has 109. The line is headed down. I'm not exactly sure what's up with that, but I just mentioned a bunch of totals yesterday that had big moves that were totally wrong. The moves were wrong. So I'm going to take this one first half over 108.5 minus 105 at BetOnline, and the Toronto first half 7.5 minus 115. Jim, you want to stay off this game, or maybe take a shot with it one way or another?
I'm really considering that first half over. I'm going to continue to consider it at this point.
Yeah, and another possible bet to consider would be, you had a nice winner with the Houston first half team total over a few days ago or last week or something like that, when we weren't sure whether we wanted Houston on the first half or the over, and you just went with the first half team total over. The first half team total over here would be about, I don't know, like 58.5, something like that, 59.
Wow.
Yeah. What do you think?
You know what? I think I actually like the first half over better than just the Raptors.
Right, because I'm making two bets here. They could both cash, and if Phoenix comes in and scores, probably the first half over cashes. If they come in and they don't score, probably the Toronto first half cashes, and very easily both of them could cash, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Utah.
Before we do, it's Nate Pereira's birthday. Happy birthday, my man. Let's get paid tonight. And thank you for joining us on your birthday, pal.
All right, yes. Happy birthday, Nate Pereira. Baseball Bob says, Pete, take the game over also, which I was thinking about that one. I was thinking about that one as well, and I certainly would lean that way. Let's see. Adam Lastman says, Raps put up 66 in the first half. Yes, I could see that one. Kobe Valentine says, I like Raptors first half. Ariane Costa says, I'm confident with the Raptors first half over. All right, everyone seems to be agreeing with the two plays that I gave. Here we go. Small Thrill says, Raps don't seem to keep their foot on the gas like they have in regular seasons of the past. Yeah, so that might be because of that might be why the first half might have better. Let's see, Rem Most. He might be like in Phoenix here. He goes, I hope you all push the spread to 14 plus. Well, we're not. I'm not on the full game. I'm just on the first half. So Ariane Costa likes it. Jesus Cabrera says Toronto team total over 118. I can certainly understand that one.
Well, Gambling got at a really nice point right when we begun the segment, saying that Phoenix is 10-2 straight up in the last 12 games when playing on the road against Toronto.
Yes, I did know that. I mean, Phoenix in general plays Toronto tough. Remo says wildest Raptor love. Yes, and again, if Phoenix does come to play, look, they could both lose and I could eat 2 units of loss. But if Phoenix does come to play, my assumption is that the first half will go over, and we'll see. Phoenix does come to play in Toronto historically, but again, as you say, Jim, a lot of times you take that with a grain of salt because you're talking about different scenarios, different teams, different coaches even, and that's a small sample size, so variance can easily come into play, as we know, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. That stat doesn't really concern me.
I mean, if you have 100 times where you're flipping a coin 10 times, you're going to have a bunch of times where you're flipping 8-2, 9-1. All right, next game, very interesting game, Utah against OKC. Very interesting game here. Utah obviously absolutely rolling. I did not have them yesterday. I did have them on the second half, huge, and I loved that play. They were just they're just rolling here. OKC, of course, not winning. They did win their last 2 games straight up, but they lost those 2 ATS. They've now lost 7 out of their last 8 ATS, and they just have a bad habit of losing games straight up as a favorite. Here they are once again. Obviously, the first glance thought here is Utah +7. I mean, if Utah continues to maintain anything close to what they've been doing recently, Utah plus, and OKC does the same, Utah +7 is an absolute gift, or not. Is that a trap, Jim? What do you think?
Well, I want confirmation that Gobert is good to go again tonight. Even if he only played, in the 21 minutes he played, he put up 10 boards, and he can change the inflection of a game quite easily. Now, Utah is looking very good. Won 6 straight games. They won by 47 last night, and they are 4-1 on the second half of back-to-backs. And I think it's Quinn Snyder is just an incredible coach. I've been so impressed with what he's doing. Alec Burks has now picked up the scoring. He scored 20 or more points in 3 straight games. The Thunder are 10-12 and barely beat a Spurs team, resting everybody. The Thunder are 8-3 at home, 4th in league in points allowed, 24th in points per game. I think that this is a great spot for the Jazz.
Yeah, it would certainly seem that way. Does it matter? See, I'm looking at this. I'm thinking, with how they played with Gobert out, does it matter if he's out or at all? They're getting 7 points here. You know what I mean? This is much a play against OKC, which has been the right way to go over the past 2 weeks as a play on Utah, right?
I think so. I think you're right. I think you're right. Simplifying even more, we'd be just fading the Thunder. Seems like everybody here is on John Kerry's Utah game over all day. Hako Schofield loves Utah.
Here we go. Utah Gambling God says Utah is 2-9-1 ATS in its last 12 games when playing on the road against OKC. But that were totally different Utah and OKC teams, right?
Totally.
Yeah. Let's see. Hako Schofield says love Utah. Pete John Young says LOL. I said Jazz +7 is a gift. Yes, that's absolutely right. Devin Rivera, Utah Jazz has been hanging fruit since last week. Absolutely, for sure. Phil My Crack-In says Utah over full game and first half. Yeah, Phil My Crack-In says cash Utah on the team over yesterday. Yeah, let's see. Other comments here. Yeah. John Young says OKC is consistently a terrible bet. Yes. Why overthink it? The only reason not to take Utah here is if you're overthinking it.
I think so.
John Young says Jazz money line. Gonzalo Lopez says Jazz +7. Let me just look at this shit. All right, what are we going to do here? You're going to take Utah here, Jim?
I am.
Okay, Utah +7. Best line shopping right now would be -106 at Pinnacle. Utah +7, -106. And, yeah. All right, let me think if I want to do that or not. Let me see what the maybe the first half might even be good here as well. Yeah, +4, maybe doubling up on Utah. What do you think about that?
You know, I like the Jazz here. I like that they're 4-1 on the second half of back-to-backs. I am uncomfortable. If the Thunder didn't look so awful against the Spurs, I would have more discomfort. But they look terrible. I mean, they won by 3, but looked bad doing it. Yeah, they did. They really did. Utah easy money tonight, says Raymond Coker. Brad Dale says OKC is horrible. Skrillage DTV says Westbrook is going to show up. Okay, that doesn't mean they're going to cover 7, though. Utah pretty beat up now. Ha, says Gambling God. Jazz money line is around 255. Haku Schofield says Jazz's money. Yeah, what do you think? And Sonny Kemper's from Oklahoma and says they're horrible against the spread. Constant fade. Yes. Yeah. Now, Lonzo Goat says OKC due to go off. They win by 16+. I tell you what, one of the guys I cap with was saying that the Thunder was due last week. The Thunder was due, and he lost a huge sum of money thinking that they were due. That's right, and I believe there was a lot of there were a lot of comments, or not a lot of comments, but a comment that I noted saying, one guy saying OKC should show up tonight. That doesn't mean they will. Right? OKC's the kind of team that is not showing up when they should be showing up, right? Well, and John Rodriguez says, now, I don't think we need to get, he just retracted the message. Hako Schofield likes the over. The over is interesting, although OKC has been playing some decent defense. And, yeah, the over is tempting as well. What do you think about the over, Jim? 197, I don't find it too tempting, to be honest with you. I think it's right exactly where the line should be. I don't see the advantage, really. Or let's look at the old team total over, which would be 95.5 for Utah. All right. Yeah, this is certainly an interesting situation. Jim's going to take Utah +7, -106. I'm going to stay off for now. Again, we're doing a show at 6 o'clock Eastern time, so we can definitely revisit this then. Let's move on to a Washington-Portland. Washington, of course, got absolutely embarrassed last night. So presumably, no matter who's playing for Washington, they're going to be looking to atone for that. But Portland just as salty, coming off of 2 straight-up losses as a favorite at home. So Portland's probably not going to be, complacent here either. Line's 5.5 or 6 right now. What do you have to say about this one, Jim, if anything? I like the Blazers here now. I thought they were about to step up last week and look bad. I lost a couple bets on them. But I don't think just the fact that the Wizards put up 69 points, I don't think they're going to come back that much better. I think they're beaten up right now. They're in a real tough spot. And the one bright spot for the Wizards has been Thomas Satoransky, the 6'7" guard from Czech Republic. Looked good running the second unit, but they're in trouble. And like you said, off the top, the Blazers have to win this game. They have to step up. They have a lot of they had a very disappointing week. Their 3rd best defense in the league. But I predicted stronger offensive numbers. They're tied for 26th in field goal percentage, last in the NBA in fast break points at just 4.3. They're last in the NBA in assists at 18.1. Who would have ever saw this coming? I did not see it coming. But in saying all that, I think the Blazers defend vigorously, and I think they not only cover, but I think it goes under. And I'm taking both.
Both. Okay. So the total, let's find it. Would be 203.5 minus 110. That is at a bunch of places. Hold on. Portland under 203.5 minus 110. That is a line currently at Heritage Bookmaker, UWager, a bunch of other places. And what else do you want?
And I'll take the Blazers to cover.
Okay, that's fine. Best line would be 5.5 at Pinnacle minus 109. Portland minus 5.5 minus 109. All right, so Jim taking Portland on the under and Portland minus 5.5 to cover. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm definitely staying off of that one. We have gotten some interesting comments, handicapping comments that I would like to read before we move on to NHL. Let's see. Cale Reeves says, I don't trust the Blazers at all. Raymond Coker says the Wizards are on a back-to-back. Thank you, Captain. No, I'm kidding around. Yes, they are on a back-to-back, but they're not on a back-to-back. They're on a back-to-back where they just absolutely got blown out and then mailed it in the second half. So it's not like a back-to-back where they left it all in the court in the second half. Let's see. Under is a great. JK says under is a great call. Wall is out. Neither team can score. Good call. Let's see. Portland's problem. Tom Marino says Portland's problem is no ball movement. Lillard and McCollum are shoot first guards. But let's find some of these other comments that. Let's see. Delta 7575 says Washington is a better team in my opinion. Do you agree with that, Jim?
Well, you know, I like the Blazers, and I thought they were going to step up, and I was very disappointed with them last week. If they were in a 7-game series against the Wizards with Wall playing, I think it would go 7 games. And I think I would lean towards the Blazers, but I could see the Wizards taking care of business. They have a lot of length, and they can defend the perimeter. But I think that, you know, Lillard and McCollum are dangerous.
And Jersey made, this is one, no, not backing it up with any analysis, but made a score prediction, OKC 110-89. So he's predicting a blowout by OKC. All right, whatever. All right. But so anyway, Jim and I are on, Jim's on Utah +7, Portland -5.5, the Portland game under 203.5, and I'm on Toronto first half -7.5, and the first half over in that one, 108.5. Anything else you want to say about these 3 games, or shall we move on to NHL?
No, I'm ready to move on. And Tomor has a good point, and he's not been with me. He's not believed in this Blazers team all year. But he says, and this is a good point, he says, I've had a lot of success backing teams that lose by 30 or more. Mm-hmm. Portland has had one of the easiest schedules in the NBA so far, barely have a winning record. And I think that they are better than their record. I think they're a better team. I think that they need a better power forward. They need Chief to be healthy and running. Mm-hmm. But I like the way they're changing their system with Nurkic and trying to be more defensive, knowing that they got these guards that can put up 30 points whenever they want. I mean, Lillard's 7th in the league at 25.5 points per game. I think this system will work in the long run. Mm-hmm.
Paco Schofield says, Portland is pissed. Then Jersey Maid said, Wizards are pissed. Then Justin Searcy says, Wizards might be pissed. My assumption is both of these teams are going to be pissed, right? Mm-hmm. Right? So assuming that both teams will be pissed, who's likely to come out on top ATS-wise? And Jimmy Bag says Portland. I'm definitely passing on this one. And, yeah, all right, okay. King Rail says Portland will win this. Will be an up and down the court type of game. Okay, and Eric Swiatek says this NBA card eats dick. Complete pass for me. All right, 3 games here. Jim and I have given a handful of picks. And shall we move on?
Yeah.
All right. Absolutely. Huge NHL card. Let's see if we can find some puck lines, some overs, maybe some unders, maybe some money lines to see if we can change our records a little bit here. Do you mind if we throw up the record? You knew that was coming, Jim. Jimmy the Bag. Don't worry about it. We're all with you. We're all in this together, baby. Let's throw up that NHL record. Jimmy the Bag has been chopping away at his negative record here with successive winning days of puck lines, 2-2 puck line days at huge underdog odds. Now down 1/10 of 1 unit. And I am up 6.9 units, up and down, up and down. The winning days in NHL seem to come with the losing days in NBA for me, and vice versa. A huge card tonight, and actually, I'll tell you what. There's a few things that I was thinking about, but nothing that really jumped out at me as like this might be low-hanging fruit or this might be an obvious play. Definitely some interesting stuff here. Let's start with you, Jimmy the Bag. I know you've broken down this card back and forth, left and right, up and down. What are you liking here?
Well, I had a plan last night. I thought I had a plan just by looking at the games, and then I went over it all morning and I changed my plan. I decided to take 3 different puck lines and take a home dog. So first off, why don't we just start with the home dog? I was surprised that the Canucks are a home dog, especially after that big 2-1 win over the Leafs on Hockey Night in Canada Saturday night. Now, the only question is this a letdown spot? And the Canucks team is not used to winning. I don't see any letdown spots for them. Their coach, Travis Green, needs them to play with a certain level of intensity. And I don't see that they're going to let down here. You know, they've won 2 straight, but they're only 4-5-3 at home. This is the first game of a 6-game road trip for the Hurricanes. They flew in a day early to fight off any kind of fatigue, and they're 5-5-2 on the road. They're a healthy squad to begin this trip, but their special teams continue to hold them back. They're 25th in power play, 23rd in penalty killing, and I'm surprised that I'm getting because in the morning it was -110, and then the early action came on Carolina, and I'd be happy to back a home dog here.
Yeah, that was my thought. I was like leaning Vancouver. That's just my only thought on this game. Right now, the line is, there's got to be a reason why the line is headed up. We'll see where this line moves by 6 o'clock Eastern time. So you want to take this officially? Best line right now would be +109 at Pinnacle.
I will take it.
Okay, Vancouver, money line, +109. That is the line right now at Pinnacle and sportsbetting.ag and Bet Online. I was thinking, you know, why not the under? Why not the Vancouver money line? But definitely the recent line movement concerns me and surprises me just a teeny bit. I mean, that's not random movement, right?
That's not random movement, absolutely. But I went over these rosters, and I don't see Carolina having a better roster than the Canucks. And we're at home, and we're rested.
Jersey Maid says St. Louis is the play tonight. Let's go to that game because that's certainly a very interesting game, isn't it, Jimmy the Bag? Montreal, talk about turning a corner, to put it mildly, right? Absolutely rolling, dominated Detroit in a home and home in the their last 2 games. And a lot of times when a team dominates the first game of the home and home, they get beat in the second one. No way. Montreal came back, dominated them even more. And the question is, what do we expect from them here? St. Louis kind of struggling recently, but they're still a pretty decent team, right?
You know, I'm surprised. The Blues are a much better team than they've been lately. And if the Blues were plus money, I would probably take them. They're winless in their last 3, 4-5-1 in their last 10. They've scored 4 goals in their last 3 games. Braden Shen, who put up 19 points over 8 games, has now been held pointless 5 straight games. It's going to change. I just don't see that continuing. Now, the Habs have won 5 straight since Carey Price returned from injury. He's allowed 6 goals in those 5 games. They've scored 24 goals in those 5 games after that 10-1 thrashing. 13 different players have scored the 24 goals over the 5-game winning streak. They're clearly firing on all cylinders right now. And if you were, I could see backing both sides. But I think that the Habs at this actually probably have a little bit more value. But with both teams being at minus money, I just don't see a reason to pick one of them.
Yeah, I was also thinking about the under. I think obviously Montreal's playing great defensively. Their offensive explosion against Detroit was probably anomalous for that series. And St. Louis has been kind of low scoring recently. And I've definitely been getting burned a bit with taking these unders and the first period unders. And I know better, but I keep doing it. But again, I'm thinking that this game might be a good play on the unders one way or another.
Well, everything that yes, you got a team that's not allowing goals against a team who's not scoring goals. Right. Yes, no, these big minus 125 and minus 130 lines are very dangerous to take. And yesterday I had a loser in the first period under with that Boston game. It was looking okay. I was looking like I was going to get it. Does it seem to you that at the end of the first period there's a lot of like second goals that get scored like in the last 30 seconds? It's hugely important time to put a dagger into a fucking team's back, and so there seems to be there's just more scoring this year all the way across the board right now.
Yeah. All right, so you're gonna pass on this game, huh?
I am, but I'll watch the line movement, and if I see value somewhere, I'll take it.
Yeah, and I'm leaning under and first period under, but I'll hold off on that one for now, and maybe we'll check the line movement later on when we come back. All right, let's move to the Rangers-Pittsburgh game. That's kind of an interesting one. Right? I was thinking that obviously Pittsburgh is playing better recently, but the Rangers are a good team. Not quite totally seeing why the Rangers should be this big of an underdog, or would you agree with that? You think Pittsburgh has value here?
I still think Pittsburgh has value, and having Zibanejad out of the lineup is the difference maker. He's still out with the concussion. The Rangers are still scoring. They're 7-3 in their last 10, sixth in the league in scoring at 3.3 goals, with the 8th best power play in the league at 22%. I expect that power play to go down with Zibanejad out of the lineup. And Henrik Lundqvist has now won his last 5 decisions. He's starting to pick it up as he always does. He seems to always do. He's 13-6-2, 2.66 goals against average, 917 save percentage. In saying all that, the Penguins are a very good hockey team. And the issue that people were wondering with Matt Murray out with the lower body injury, how is Tristan Jarry going to play? And maybe he just needed a couple games against the horrifyingly bad Buffalo Sabres to get some confidence, because he's now 4-0-2 with a 1.99 goals against average and a 937 save percentage. And Crosby's on a 5-game goal streak. He has multiple points in all those games. Kessel's firing. He leads the team in points with 33. They have the 4th best power play in the league at 25.5%, and that number is getting better and better and better. I'm going to take Pittsburgh at -1.5. I see this as an opportunity against a Rangers team without their best player.
Yeah, you're getting some agreement here. J.D. Williams says, I took Pitt on the puck line and money line for -1. Skate for Eva 12341 says Zibanejad is out. Damn, that's a huge loss. Pittsburgh going to take advantage. Skate for Eva also says Rangers always play good against the Pens. Okay. Yes. All right. So you're going to take Pittsburgh on the puck line?
I am.
All right. Let's find the best line here. Let's do a little line shopping. What are we going to get here? Plus 195 at the Greek and Pinnacle. Pens plus 195. Pens puck line. Plus 195.
I love it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's move on to one game that I thought maybe I'm seeing some value with, and that is the Buffalo-Colorado game, maybe on the under. Both of these teams are kind of anemic. The goaltending, I'm thinking, should be good enough. I know it's another under game with a big favorite line, which is, as we know, a treacherous thing to bet into. But I'm thinking under. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah. I also think, and I'm afraid to say this out loud, but I think there's value with Buffalo here. And I don't think I'm going to, at least at this point, I'm not going to make a move on it. Right. But the Sabres are playing terrible. 2-11-1 since the start of November. 6-17-4 overall, worst record in the league. They're 31st in goals per game, 31st in goals allowed with a 30th ranked power play. I mean, it's god awful. They just waived Matt Molson, who is a character guy in the dressing room. That should be a wake-up call. But the Avs are clearly missing Gabriel Landeskog. This is his last game that he's going to miss with a suspension. They're 1-3 in the final game of their homestand coming in right now, and I think they're susceptible. I kind of like Buffalo in this spot. And I'm just hesitant because I don't think I've won anything on Buffalo all year long. And I thought they were going to have some value at times this year. And I'm just I'm hesitant to pull the trigger on this shit hockey team.
And maybe they will at some point. There's many months to go in this season. And a lot of times, we see this in baseball and in hockey, a lot of times these horrifically god-awful teams in the first few months do sometimes turn it around as a huge underdog later on in the season and have some decent value game in and game out. We've seen that with San Diego Padres over the past bunch of years. We do see that. So the time for Buffalo to have betting value might yet come, but as of right now, it's looking ugly. But Colorado's not that much better. A little bit better, but not that much better, right?
Right. I mean, clearly the Sabres have become even far worse than the Coyotes. And I don't understand how that happened. I can't understand. When I look at their roster, I don't know why they're so bad. I mean, yes, their defense is they don't have enough puck-moving defensemen, but still.
Rem Most with an interesting statistic here that you should take into consideration. Buffalo hasn't won a road game since 2006. That I did not know. That is a shocking statistic to me. Blew my mind on that one. Wow. All right, let's see. Jin Rummy says, I like your under, Pete, even going with under 5 plus 161. Good luck. Yeah. I might actually prefer a 5 at huge plus money than just 5.5.
Definitely.
Yeah. But you'd have to buy that or sell that, which you could do in this show. It'd just be a little bit complicated. Right now, it's all 5.5s at minus 115 or so. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Vincent K. Maxwell with another interesting fact here. Buffalo's garbage. You have a better chance seeing a leprechaun riding a unicorn than Buffalo winning this game. Okay. Yeah. Another interesting fact that kind of surprises me. Surprises me there. All right. Buffalo, Colorado. I will take, once again, the first period under on this one. I know this is treacherous. I know this is tricky, but I will take it. Colorado, first period under. minus 113 right now at Pinnacle. And I will, you know what? I will throw on the full game under as well. I agree that I'd rather be getting 5 at huge plus money, but I will take the 5.5 at minus 118, which is at Pinnacle and Bet Online. I'll take the full game as well. Colorado under 5.5, minus 118. I might take some of those back. We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if this one gets bet significantly down. Maybe if it gets bet down where I can hedge out and it goes to like, no, that probably won't happen. All right, I'll just stick with it. 2 unders here. I feel like the defenses and the goalies should be okay and that the offensive struggles of both these teams are real.
They're clearly real.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's because with Colorado, I don't know if it is real, although without their stud, tough captain, it is real.
Wow. Yeah. All right. McGogster99 says, Pete, I'm not high on the play. Okay. Yeah, sure. Ramvel says that defense is shit. Ristolainen, their top defenseman, can play offense but can't play defense. You agree with that, Jim?
I do. I think that Ristolainen has to be part of the problem. We thought that he could be a -- 1 defenseman, and he's clearly not playing like one. So, yeah, I think that's right.
A lot of people not liking my underplay here. Wow. But you would agree with it more than disagree with it, Jim?
I don't like the minus 20 and minus 25, 125s. I find them, it's such a disadvantage. So I would much rather, if you could get...
I'm getting 118.
Minus 118, which is better. Yeah, much better. But if you could get a minus 5 at a huge plus number,
yes,
I would be much more into that.
I would agree with that one as well. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Udumporn Ratanafakti says, what do you guys think about Pittsburgh Rangers under 6? We did already discuss that game, but we can go back to it for a specific question on the total. What do you think, Jim? High total here for Pittsburgh and the Rangers. I would think maybe a shot with the under. Maybe
I do. Definitely would lean under here. Definitely. These important division rivalry games are usually lower scoring.
Yes.
And especially with Zibanejad out of the lineup. But here, Vincent K. Maxwell likes the over in the Rangers game. I would definitely be taking the under here if I was going to do that, but I'm not. I'm just going to take the Penguins minus 1.5.
Okay, let's move on. What else do you want to bring to our attention, Jim, that you want to add to your official picks today?
I have 2 more puck lines. One is something I don't really like doing. I don't really like taking a road team on a puck line, but the Jets are just playing so good right now that I can't help myself. They now lead the Western Conference 17-6-4. They've outscored their opponents 21-9 over their last 4 games. Blake Wheeler and Mark Scheifele are currently 4th and 5th in the NHL in scoring. Wheeler leads the league in assists with 28. Matthew Perreault says the 5-0 shutout of the Senators on Sunday was one of the most dominating performances he's ever been a part of. And he's moved up to the first line because they've shifted line A back. After the shutout, Hellebuck, what we said at the very beginning of the year, is now 15-2-3 with a 2.31 goals against average and a 921 save percentage.
That's right. Actually, you said that, Jim, and after you said it twice, I agreed with you and I believed it. Very nice call there,
It was
Jim.
Great. It was a great call, and we were ahead of the curve on the Jets, and they made us money this year. The Wings are on a 7-game losing streak, outscored 20-5 in their last 3 games. As Pete said, they lost 10-1 to the Canadiens. That was their worst loss in 4 years. Zetterberg's gone 20 games without a goal. Key players like Mike Green, Trevor Daley, Anthony Mantha were all -4 on Saturday night. They're now 27th in goals and 27th in goals against. Who's that remind you of? The Buffalo Sabres. That's how bad they're playing, and I'm going to take the Jets on -1.5 here.
My note on this one is Winnipeg is either a super obvious value or a super trap, and you think it's super obvious value. I got to agree with that. I mean, and again, if you lose on the puck line, you lose 1 unit. The puck line right now is +224. And I will go on that one as well. Winnipeg -1. If it winds up being a super trap and we get sucked out and fucking have to eat a unit of loss, we'll take it. The best line for Winnipeg on the money line right now for me will be -130, which is the line across the board. And again, the puck line +224. So Jim's on the Winnipeg puck line, and I'm on the Winnipeg -1 line. All right, what else are you liking, Jim?
I have one more puck line, and it's a dangerous play that I'm going to back and support completely. It was not my intention when I looked at this card, but after studying it, I felt like this was an opportunity that I was going to take. I'm going to take the Dallas Stars on the puck line at home against a very dangerous Nashville Predators team. The Predators won at home last night, 5-3 over the Bruins. Pekka Rinne was in goal last night. He started 4 straight, so UC Saros is expected tonight, and he's very questionable. Not questionable in goal, like he just doesn't look. He's 1-3-1, 3.71 goals against average, .870 save percentage. Ryan Johansson is expected to remain out with an upper body injury. Those two things right there are huge advantages to the Stars. The Stars just completed a perfect back-to-back themselves on Saturday and Sunday. They beat the Blackhawks 3-2 and then destroyed the Avalanche 7-2 to cap off a perfect week at 4-0. They've now won 5 straight, and they seem to be putting it all together. I'm going to take the Stars on the puck line here.
All right, here's where line shopping very important. Bookmaker in a few places have 191, 195. Pinnacle has 191, but UWager has plus 210. So we do use UWager. Yeah, and there you go. We're going to give you that one. Dallas puck line minus 1.5, plus 210. 5 Dimes has 215. We don't use 5 Dimes lines. We do use 2-way UWager lines, plus 210. Currently the best line at UWager. Thanks so much, UWager, for providing that one. Minus 1.5, plus 210 on the Dallas puck line. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, those are my 4 official plays at this point.
Okay.
Although I might make a stab on the Sabres on the Late Show.
All right, we will let's review the plays, review some comments, and then look at some of the other games that are that we didn't touch on that are kind of interesting. Jim, in NHL, Vancouver money line plus 109, Penn's puck line plus 195, Winnipeg puck line plus 224, and Dallas puck line plus 210. And I am on Winnipeg minus 1 and the Colorado game under first period under 113 and the full game under 5.5 minus 118. Those might be 2 losers, but I think I'm going to go with them. And let's see some other games. Minnesota at LA is obviously very interesting. LA is kind of the U.S. version of Montreal right now. Jonathan Quick just shutting teams out right now. Now they come back home, but Minnesota always tough, although significantly worse on the road than they've been at home so far this year. That's an interesting matchup. You have anything to say about possible betting value here, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, the Wild opened up the 3-game California road trip. They've won 2 straight, 6-3-1 in their last 10, and they are improving in every statistical category right now. 15th in goals per game, 12th in goals allowed, 7th in power play, 9th in penalty killing. And but the Kings are playing very good hockey. And right when I thought they were going to slip back and just be an average hockey team, they've won 5 straight, including 4 in a row on the road. That was a giant road trip, and it came at a time when I didn't expect them to play so well. And now they're coming back, and we all know how tough that first game at home is. It's tough after a road trip,
sure.
But they're 13th in goals per game, 1st in goals allowed, 1st in penalty killing. That's a recipe for success. But I just lost all week betting against the Kings.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do it here, but it's tough coming back from a road trip, being with your families and dealing with bills and all the bullshit that comes with being at home. And
Dubnik's last 2 road games are pretty high scoring, just kind of like very up and down from this guy, right?
Yeah. What is the total?
Oh, well, the total's 5. There's no way you're going to take the under on that one. For you, it'll be over or nothing because the total is 5.5, heavily juiced to the under in the minus 130s.
Wow, yeah.
Yes, 136 at Pinnacle. Heavily juiced. 140 at UWager. Heavily juiced to the under. No way I'm taking the over here, though. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's and the money line on the Wild is what?
The money line on the Wild is a decent. Actually, it's gotten bet down.
Wow,
it was
way down.
In the plus 120s. Now it's down to a plus 113, 110,
wow.
103 at Bookmaker.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a big line move.
That sure is. What does that tell you? That tells you that Minnesota's going to score here or that Minnesota's going to play good D. I think that tells you Minnesota's going to play good D. Jimmy the Bag, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take a first period under. First period under 1.5. Minus 120 currently at intertops. The best line for this one. I'm going to take it. What do you think about that one? I mean, these are obviously 2 teams that can be very low scoring, right?
I would expect them to play the way they've played all year, which is very tight checking
yes.
and defensive oriented.
I'm taking the first period under here. It's minus 121 at Pinnacle, but Intertops has beaten them. Thank you so much to Intertops, sponsor of the show, friend of the show. Under 1.5 on the first period, minus 120 at Intertops. Hopefully I don't get burned on that one. I've been burned taking these first period totals on my official picks. My lean first period total plays have been great. So I'm trying to convert them into units, and I am going to take it first period under 1.5, minus 120. Jimmy the Bag.
Ramville says Minnesota is a play. LA is a great road team, but not great at home this year. JD Williams got in on the Wild at plus 126. Mr. Gogster 99 says, I like that under pistol.
Yes. This is a tough one. Very, very tricky one. Let's talk about another interesting game, if you don't mind. Actually, there's two we have to talk about that are definitely interesting. The first one, New Jersey against Columbus. Columbus is great, but should New Jersey be this big of an underdog? I'm just not seeing it. Maybe you can explain why, Jim, they're this big of an underdog.
They shouldn't be. And last night, my plan was to take the Devils in this spot. And I'm still deciding whether I should do that or not. Devils are finishing off a 3-game road trip. They beat the Avalanche 2-1 and then lost badly to the Coyotes 5-0. But Corey Schneider was not in goal in that game, and he will be back, and he's an elite goaltender. 10-5-3, 2.68 goals against average, .920 save percentage. Devils are 9-3-2 on the road. The Jackets have won 5 straight at home. They have won 8 out of 10 overall, but they continue to have the league's worst power play. And Tortorella has been changing up his lines all year, trying to find the right combinations, and he can't find them. Right now, he's Artemi Panarin with 2016 third overall pick, Pierre-Luc Dubois, who's actually really stepped it up. And they have 6'3", 220-pounder Josh Anderson on the line with them. They've combined for 18 points over the last 6 games. Anderson had 7 shots in their last game, and he's playing like a power forward that every team needs. I've been very impressed with him. But I think that the Devils are not being given the respect that they deserve, and that's a juicy number.
Is Columbus that? They're good, but are they that good? Is Bobrovsky that great?
Bobrovsky might be that great, but the Jackets are not that great.
All right, I'm going to take New Jersey on the +1 line. So this will be about even money. So if they win, I get a unit. If they lose by more than 1, I'll lose just a unit. And if they lose by 1, it's a push. The money line part of this one will be +170 at Bookmaker and BetDSI and a few other places. And the puck line part of that will be -177 at Pinnacle. So just a tiny favorite line there. I will take New Jersey +1. And there is a question here, if you don't mind me taking a little bit of time. Phil My Kraken says, Losh, why you go with -1 lines in both baseball and hockey? Well, there's a few reasons. I do in general like to take I like to bet into volatility. So I like to take, -1.5 lines in baseball and hockey, but I also don't like to, I like to bet into the volatility as far as my bets are concerned, but as far as the lines I take, I don't like them to, I like to make my lines in all bets as close to -110 as possible for a bunch of reasons. And so, I have more specific mathematical reasons for why I do that, but just in general with these picks, it's just something that I like to do for a bunch of reasons. It reduces your volatility. Now, Jimmy in the Bag, on the other hand, loves volatility. Right? Loves it. Loves going 2-1 with +300 puck lines and getting a big cashing day there. Right, Jim?
I love it, yeah.
Yeah. Loves going 2-2 at +225 and winning a unit and a half on a 2-2 day. So yeah, and I like to do the same thing too. It's just for other reasons I like to make those lines not quite as, because when you're betting big underdog lines, you're inviting volatility, or big money lines as the case may be with New Jersey here. You're inviting volatility. You're going to have big highs and big lows, and I don't really like that so much on a day-to-day basis. So I generally like to take +1s and -1. So I am going to take New Jersey here at +1. Jim, you're going to stay off this game. You're going to take New Jersey.
I feel like if I take the Devils and the Sabres, that one of those teams will win. And, I'm going to think about this and watch the line movement. But I bet you the line. I bet you right now we're getting the Devils at the best spot to get them. I don't see how more money could go on to it.
And here we go. Taco Schofield says, love show, always best research out there. See y'all this evening. Thanks. Thank you so much, Taco Schofield. Trevor Loden says, Jackets are an average team with a perennial Vezina winner behind them. So when you see a team like that, which you see all the time in NHL, are you like, that goalie's gonna save this game for them no matter what? Or do you think that goalie might be great, but with an average team in front of them, he's going to get beat?
Well, I think when they have an average team with a great goalie, you'll find value fading them.
Right. Because they're going to be a big favorite, and they're going to get their wins, but they're going to be a big favorite and probably too big of a favorite. So would you say that goalies in general are overrated in terms of their value? In terms of
you just can't say that across the board, because look what Carey Price just did with the Canadians.
That's true.
When you trust your goalie behind you, you can take more risks and you can play a little differently.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's see. Jim Rummy says Devils power rankings is just too relevant this year. And Ramvel says Bobrovsky has 2 shutouts against Devils in the last 3 games. Look, he's great. He's a great goalie, right? So does that put us off of it? Not necessarily. Okay. Ramvel says New Jersey 2-9 in the last 11 meetings against Columbus. Maybe that is kind of important because last year, of course, similar programs, right?
Yes. I mean, I didn't like the Panarin for Sayad trade, but the Jackets are pretty much the same team as they were last year. Very good young defense, great goaltending, and their forward lineup is questionable.
Oh, shit. Cale Reeves, not even giving any handicapping opinions here, just saying, Pete, don't do it. I mean, look, if it loses, I lose 1 unit. But, I mean, if it really can't, if there's no way that it wins, if it's a bad bet. So Cale Reeves presumably thinks that the Devils are they're a big underdog here for a reason, and it's a sucker bet to take them.
I don't. I think you're getting a lot of value.
Yeah. The gambling got again. New Jersey is 2-9 straight up in its last 11 games when playing Columbus. That's not great. That's not a great stat there. All right,
I don't think you worry about that stat for a second. This Devils team is so different than they were last year. A complete roster overhaul. Young kids playing great hockey, and I wouldn't be concerned by their prior record. This year, 2 out of the last 3 games, maybe that's a little concerning, although I don't think they played the Jackets 3 times this year, so I think that is also adding a shutout to last year. But this is a much different team.
All right, let's talk about very quickly another game similar, the Isles and Tampa Bay. Of course, the Islanders on a back-to-back, won at Florida in a shootout, so obviously that was a grind-out game that probably took a lot out of them. But the Islanders, a very impressive team, been winning. Tampa Bay, also a team that has a lot of positives, but should they be this big of a favorite?
It's a good question. The Islanders have taken over as the league's highest scoring team from the Lightning. They've won 5 of 6, and they're getting scoring from everybody. It's not just Tavares and Bailey anymore. 2015 first-round pick BC boy Matthew Barzal is second in rookie scoring with 24 points. They're feeling good about themselves. This is their 6th back-to-back of the year. They've only won both ends once. But that happened last week. Halak was in goal last night, so Grice is expected tonight. I'm not sure which one you'd rather have in goal, to be honest with you. Yeah. And you're right. 2 weeks ago, the Islanders came to Amalie Arena and beat the Lightning 5-3. And last year, the Lightning owned the Islanders. Swept the season series, outscoring them 14-2, but we know this is a completely different team.
And I guess, when you win on a shootout in a high-scoring game, that takes a lot out of you, right? In general.
I don't know. Does it?
I don't know.
No, I think if you lose in the shootout, it takes a lot out of you because you're disappointed. If you win, you feel like you stole an extra point, and you feel good, and you move on to the next game. Both teams can score. The big difference is goals against. Islanders are 25th, allowing 3.3, and the Lightning are 4th, allowing just 2.5.
Darryl Lyle says Islanders playing crazy good. Yeah, I mean, a team playing crazy good at any spot as a huge underdog is always tempting for me. I will hold off on that one for right now. And then let's quickly move on to the last game. Let's just quickly touch on it. Anaheim and Vegas. Anaheim, are they going to get any better at some point in the near future or far future?
In the near future, and we got to wait because Raquel or Silverberg may be back tonight. They're going to be a very good hockey team moving forward. They've handled this adversity extremely well. Now Vegas is 10-2 at home after Sunday's 3-2 overtime win versus Coyotes, and they will not keep this up. All of their numbers, every single number across the board is getting worse. They cannot possibly keep this up. With these numbers getting worse, they're now 21st in goals allowed, 17th in power play, 25th in penalty killing. The Ducks have just won 1 of their last 7, and they're finishing up a 6-game road trip, but they're going to be very good. And I need to hear if Raquel or Silverberg is coming back because I think the Ducks might have value tonight.
I was thinking about the over in this one. What do you think about that one, Jim? Is Anaheim going to start picking it up offensively at some point soon?
I don't know how they can. They have to play a very tight defensive style of game because they don't have the scores. I don't think they can. I think they got to wait to pounce on power plays.
Skate Forever says, I see Anaheim as dogs. They will outplay Vegas. All right, we got to wrap this show up very, very soon. Of course, I have not done any research on the college basketball slate today, but I will and give some picks in the 6 o'clock show. Jim may have looked at some or even all of this massive card. We'll see, but shall we move on, Jim?
Yes.
All right, let's move on to college basketball. Let's quickly throw this record up just because it is very, very nicely positive for both of us. And coming off of a frustrating day, let's just throw that record up there. Very, very nice. I'm up 7.3% ROI. Jim's up 8.2% ROI. Both of us coming off a losing day, but I'm expecting some nice bounce back days coming up this week from both of us. Jimmy the Bag, massive card. I'm definitely going to have some opinions and plays at 6 o'clock Eastern time. As of right now, I got nothing. Jim, have you looked at this card at all?
I have, and I'm leaning definitely towards Virginia. They're playing very good. Nobody's come even within, VCU came within single digits of them. They have the nation's best defense. They're allowing just 50.6 points per game. They held Wisconsin to just 37 points. Now, I know that was at home, but 37 points, and 6'10", 250-pounder Jack Salt should have his way on the boards. The Mountaineers don't have anyone that can match his size. I expect 7'1" freshman Jay Huff to see more floor time against the small West Virginia front line. Yes, West Virginia has won 7 straight since losing their opening game to Texas A&M. And Javon Carter and Daxter Miles have experience versus Virginia's pack line defense. But I just think that this is a good spot for Virginia, and I like them here, and I like getting points. And so I'm going to study that game further.
Okay, Jose Rodriguez says Virginia revenge game. Also says he likes Sparty, Villanova, and Texas A&M. And Gambling got interesting. He says, Loshak in the Bag, keep up the great work. If you both can do a best bet of the night, I think that would be nice. And, despite our losing day yesterday, I think if we had to give a best bet in the morning show yesterday, we probably both would have taken the Caps, right? That's
Definitely.
what I would have taken.
With that giant 253.
Yeah. So looking over today's card, out of the picks that you've given, do you want to give one that you think is your favorite bet in NBA or NHL?
Yeah, give me 30 seconds.
Yeah. Might just be Winnipeg, man. I mean, Detroit is bad. Winnipeg is good. You know what I'm saying?
They're getting a plus 224 spot.
Yeah, you get a plus 224 spot. All right, I will say, actually, when we're put on the spot to find our best bets, a little harder than to do when it's in retrospect. But yeah, I will say my best bet so far out of all these games probably would be the Toronto first half over 108.5 minus 105. That's what I would say. Second would be Winnipeg -1.
I think. I think that how can I not take a plus 224 as the best bet? But I really like the Wizards Blazers going under 203.5.
Okay, so Jim really likes the Winnipeg puck line with me as well, and the Wizards Blazers going under 203.5. There you go, Gambling God. Nice question, and thanks so much. All right, let's see. Jason Grassi says taking West Virginia -3.5. Defense is just too good. Small Thrill says I like Jimmy's Pitt puck line. Very nice. Dave Wolf says love the best bet idea in all caps. All right, maybe we'll do that. What the fuck? Let's do it. Sure.
Yeah, no problem. We could do it.
Andy White says Virginia is a good call. Cal707 Bear says Golden Gophers to cover. Cup of Sun says you guys are awesome. I love the best bet idea too. Thank you so much. Trent Ware says Virginia isn't the same team West Virginia rolls. Okay, so a lot of back and forths here from on the Virginia-West Virginia game. Highly controversial game here. Jansen Bonzone says Minnesota low-hanging fruit tonight in NCAA basketball. Let's look into that, Jim, because Jansen Bonzone sees Minnesota not just as a good bet, but as a low-hanging fruit caliber bet. Brett Smyer says, I got UVA +5 somehow, as we've seen yesterday, and we will probably see tonight. These half points and full points do matter, absolutely, in NBA and college basketball. Let's see. Brett Smyer says, I like Virginia. Jansen Bonzone, West Virginia, an aggressive team on defense. A lot of disagreement on this Virginia and West Virginia matchup tonight. I'm going to have to look into this one now. Damn. Nick427PC says, Loshak in the Bags, always pleasing the fans. Absolutely. We are for the people. And look, what would we be without the fans, Jim?
Oh, man.
Nothing.
They mean so much. And Cup of Sun said some really, really kind words with all the 350 fake disagrees. So Cup of Sun, it means so much, especially on a down night like I had. It meant a lot to see your positivity, and I thank you so much, my friend.
Just like Mariah Carey, we would be nothing without our fans. Thank you so much. No, I'm kidding.
Just like Mariah?
Well, Mariah Carey, what would she be without her fans? Nothing, right?
Yeah, man, sloppy.
Yeah, absolutely. So just like Mariah Carey, we would be nothing without the viewers and the commenters and the positivity. Thanks so much. And if that guy does decide to buy some dislikes again, I have an offer for him that I hope he will take me up on, but we'll see. We'll see if that happens again. All right, our show's gone a little bit over, but let's wrap this up. Jimmy and I have given a bunch of NBA and NHL picks, and of course, a massive college basketball card, which we will break down in depth in the 6 o'clock version of this show, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 3 o'clock Pacific Time. Of course, we come from SportsBookReview.com. See you all at 6 o'clock Eastern Time.